Let's talk containers, or plug trays, or seed trays. Last September, I went to Charles Dowding. He's really worth looking at on his YouTube channel. A sort of well-established veg grower running his own market garden. And he was selling a little bit cheaper than, or less expensive, depending on your point of view, than you get elsewhere, his plug trays. This is one someone growing with some lettuce and some radish, which is just poking its head through now. And the main thing is, I know sometimes we can't get away from plastics, but rather than having disposable, if you can have plastic, have something that lasts. And these are far more sturdy. I think an American distributor for this actually drove a truck or at least a car over it, and it was undamaged apparently. It's produced by Containerwise. This is the Charles Dowding or CD trays. And the advantage he designed it was it would take a small amount of compost into each plug. And the other thing is the draining holes are much, much bigger than you normally get. I'll just compare in a moment. That's got two advantages. One is good, but a disadvantage I'll come to in a moment. One is that it drains, and the other one is with a normal plug tray. I've got this one here as an example, and we'll show the two disadvantages of these normal cheap ones. The draining holes are tiny, so this can become waterlogged, and also they're a faff to get the stuff out. Yes, you crunch it up, and then it breaks, and then it's useless. It's just fit for the bin unless you just want to use these. Unless you have something to use it up, but it doesn't last. And the other advantage, here's one, unfortunately this is a bit of a disaster, that the slug's got all but one lettuce, is I can get my little finger in and poke it up through. You're pushing it up, you're not pulling it or trying to lift it by the leaf and risk damaging it or sticking knives in around it. It's just so much easier. Pop, out it comes. I do like them. Disadvantages. The elephant in the room, cost. They are, by magnitudes far more expensive than this, but they will last hopefully decades. The second is that because of the small size of the plug trays, they can dry out quite quickly. And in the summer, you've really got to keep, you keep your eye on it. You want to keep it. You won't want to have this out at the allotment in the summer. You want it nearby to make sure water little and often. And the third disadvantage, well, it's not a disadvantage, but it's horses for courses, and I won't actually call the watering a disadvantage, it's just something you've got to keep your eye on, is that sometimes you want something a bit bigger. Because if I'm multi-sowing in particular, which I like doing, where you put some plants together in a clump, like chard or beetroot, you want something a bit bigger, because then you don't have to worry about potting it or planting it on as quick. You can let it sit in the plug tray for a bit longer. Now, there's another YouTuber, and did I mention this is by Containerwise, the Charles Dowding trays, called Hugh Richards. And also this is why I was still using these sort of trays, because sometimes I wanted a bigger module size. Now, Hugh Richards, a little bit younger than Charles Dowding, has been YouTubing for more than half his life. He actually started his YouTube channel on vegetable gardening before his voice broke, and he made a name for himself, and absolutely good for him. He has also produced his own plug tray. It is also produced by Containerwise. Let's take a look. Right, these do. Ooh, Right, so this is a 10 module. The plastic feels a little bit thinner, but it's still, well, absolutely rigid. You know, this is not going anywhere. It's going to last a long time. The size of the plug holes, the drainage holes, you can get your thumb into that one. You know, with the Charles Dowding, it's your little finger. You can get your thumb in there if you wanted to, but certainly your forefinger to push stuff out. I haven't used it. You know, I've just unbagged it. But I'm sure that it'll be good to hold compost. I'm looking forward to trying this out, actually. And this is the advantage of a larger module, which is be great for multi-sowing. And I want to get some chard in to either get some harvest before things get cold or over winter. So these will be getting used quite soon. So I've got two 20, no, I can't count, two 10 module trays and two 20 module trays. So this is the Hugh Richards starter kit. It's about just over £20 for this lot. I'll put a, I'll make it appear here by magic, the amount. So this is what I'm going to go, you know, going away from cheap, virtually one-use plastic trays. I'd rather invest in these. I can afford it, and I'm looking at that. And I appreciate some people's pockets, you know, especially the last few years, other people have other bigger priorities than posh plug trays. But I just thought it would be fun to report back on this. The other thing I just want to say regarding Containerwise, Hugh Richards, Charles Dowding, I have no affiliation with them. This is not an advertorial. I just like talking about things I like, and you know, and this goes forward with my beliefs of having better equipment and stuff that is not disposable. So I hope you enjoyed this little chat. If you did, if you fancy more of my ramblings, God help it, then please consider subscribing. Whatever. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care.